Hello, my beautiful friends, and welcome to today's style stream where we're going to be talking about the Ice Queen shadow archetype and her joyful counterpart, the sun. I'm going to explain to you what is even a shadow archetype, why it matters, what it has to do with your personal style on a very literal every single day basis. I'm going to explain what is the Ice Queen shadow archetype. I'm going to contrast her to the sun. I'm going to explain how you can embody the sun in your daily life. I'm going to give you lots of media examples to make it really engaging. And in the end, I'm going to talk about how to spot when you are in the Ice Queen mode and how you could thaw out the ice and bask in the sunny rays of your own sun. So that's our beautiful, wonderful plan for the day. And I have just like a lot of exciting things planned for us. Hi, everybody who's here. So that's our plan for the day, and I'm going to do that. And if you're watching this on the replay, I'm going to put lots of chapters so you can skip below to the exact things you want to hear about. Before I'm going to start talking about all the fun stuff about the Ice Queen and the sun, I'm going to talk about some even more fun stuff, which is that I had this new style course coming out. I have a new style course starting at the end of September. It's going to go from the end of September until the end of December, basically. It is a 12-week course, doing it together with Nikki, the style teller. The course is called The Leap because it's about taking the leap. It is a very intense transformational style course, and by that we mean that whatever issue, problem, desire, style-wise you have, we're going to really help you get in there and figure it out. What I really love about the course is that it brings together people at all places in their style journey. So it's great for you if you actually really like your style, but there's just one or two things you really want to nail down, like maybe, oh, your workplace situation has changed and you haven't quite nailed down the workplace look, or, oh, your body has changed a bit and you want to update a little bit, or maybe you're like where you live has changed. But it's also great if you've just been kind of wanting to really do something about style for a long time but haven't really gotten there, because the whole point with the course is you're signing up for a commitment and a structure where we will gently guide you and lead you through the process. So I'm gonna link it below in the description for the live. We have a website, you can read all about the course. We have a very thorough schedule kind of with the course so you can understand everything that's happening, and you have lots of time to sign up. We're starting on September 25th and you have until September 24th to sign up. Although for this first week until September 9th, we have a really sweet early bird discount. So if you already know that it's for you, I think you want to jump on that, save like $30. Okay, so that's a bit on the leap. I'm going to mention that a few times for people joining because I'm really, really excited and I want everybody to join. Hello, everybody. Special welcome to Swan Hill. It's your first time catching a live stream. Okay, well, I'll make it really, really good. It's definitely going to be really good. Okay, and Nikki's also here in the chat and says it's going to be great. Okay, so now that exciting announcement has been done, we're going to talk about the Ice Queen and the sun. And so before we start talking about the Ice Queen and the sun, we have to talk about what is a shadow archetype. What does that even mean? I'm going to bring us back to the slide, which I call the Style Key 101. And that is the basic premise of the style system. So yes, as you know, I do everything with my own style system, which I call the Style Key. And the premise of the Style Key is that you as a person have some sort of an essence. There is something about the way that you are, the total experience of you as a person, both from the inside and outside, which we label with this big word essence. And we want to harmonize your essence with your style. We want the way you look and also the way that you style yourself to be in harmony with the overall feelings, vibe, and story of who you are. We want these two things to make sense together. And that's the goal. That's like really what we're doing here, is we're trying to put these things into harmony. And then the second slide is like, why do we do this, right? Because thinking about the motivations and why we bother with style is super duper important. We're not just trying to get you to look like the prettiest little snack on the shelf, although it's really nice to look like a beautiful snack. I love it. But more than that, we really want in the Style Key to help you use tools style as a tool for personal growth. So I want you, what is it that you want and you need in life? Are you having a tough time and you want something to make you happy and cheer you up? Like, style could be that thing. Are you trying to move forward in your career and impress people? Style can help you with that. Do you just want to feel more like confident in who you are and loving yourself? Style is supposed to be helping you do all of this. And the idea is that style as a tool is just like any other tool. You can be good or bad at using it. And my goal with everything I do and with the style key system is just to help you become better at using style as an effective tool to do the things you specifically want to do. And that is what the shadow archetypes relate to also, is they are a way in which your style is not always able to do what you want to do with it. So they're kind of like an important concept to understand for when style is not really working the way you want it to work. And I showed these ones last time. I'm going to show them again. They're so cute. So one of my classic examples for the style key system, right? I have Wednesday over here. Well, I don't want my face on there. We have Wednesday, right? Her style is really speaking for her. I love this show. She's so cute. She wears all black. She's really sassy. She is really formal and kind of distant. Don't get too friendly, but also I'm really confident, I'm really bold as a person. I think her style really effectively says that. We have Elle from Legally Blonde, we'll talk about her today, right? Her style says that she thinks life is just really, really fun. She likes life to be a celebration. She's very confident in her femininity and looking really pretty, both for herself and for others specifically, is a really big part of her identity and the way that she moves forward in life. So these are two people with actually kind of a similar body type, which I didn't think about before, but wildly different personal goals and identities in life. And the point is that if we're like totally missing the point, if we look at Reese, Elle in Legally Blonde and say, oh, her style is really bad because it's not like Wednesday's style, because both of those people have amazing style, not just because they look good, but because their style is really doing something for them. And I want you to be the Legally Blonde / Wednesday of your life. That's the whole goal. And so I'm always talking about like the style journey, which is my keyword for this process, this continuous process of finding the style that helps you be you. It is that gradual process through which you develop the aesthetic, but also the approach to style, which makes sense for the person you are and gives us that harmony that we wanted in the first slide, that harmony between who you are and how things look on you and the things that you wear. So that's why we have to understand like the basic premise of why we even bother with anything in order to talk about the shadows and to understand the Ice Queen shadow. And the shadow in the system basically just refers to a way of relating to style which impedes the helpful style experience. So it's something that is part of your style story, something which is part of your kind of instincts, the way you relate to style, but that's not necessarily the road for you to take if you want to go to the vibing and thriving station. It's the road that kind of takes you to a place where you might feel less confident and less happy. And so the shadow, I love this photo. The shadow is this very deep concept, and it's like kind of been articulated, developed by Carl Jung, and since then really developed by Jungian psychologists and used in many different ways actually. But I just think the shadow, it's just a really good word. But I wanted to show this photo because it's like, oh my God, what's going on? Because I feel like sometimes it can sound and feel like a really, really heavy concept. But I really want to say that even though I do think that it's very deep and meaningful, and for me personally, thinking, for example, about when I'm in my Ice Queen mode with style, I'm like, oh, it's super helpful. At the same time, this is also just for fun. And yeah, like it doesn't really need to be that deep. It's not some like frightening fate that awaits you, and if you don't listen and do everything I say, like everything will be a disaster. It's just like a really fun way of looking at our personal challenges and struggles as people and articulating them and helping you have the best time with your style. So it's serious, but it's also kind of fun. Okay, so that's like the background. That's all you need to know about the shadows, except of course that we have the two shadows. So we have the 4 quadrants in the system, and we have the 2 shadows. So we have on the left the Lost Girl, and on the right we have the Ice Queen. And it's the Ice Queen that we're going to talk about today. That's all the intro that we need. I'm going to check the chat. I'm going to have some hot chocolate. But now we got the intro to our story. And the intro is really, really important. So even if you heard me already do it before, I feel like, can we ever think really enough about what we want style to do for us? Okay. Marina says, we have shadow archetypes for left and right. Could there be a shadow archetype for up and down and one? That's a really good question. So we have this, I think yes, of course. I just feel like for me, the left and the right quadrants, as I've talked about in the Style Q1, they really represent more about people's essence, whereas up and down refers more to kind of how you successfully express your essence through clothes, like how to facilitate it with fashion. So I feel like the reason I started with the left-right archetypes is because they're really, really good for me. But I feel like also if you want to make it really specific, I think most of the archetypes in my system have their own like slightly shadow format, or they have their own struggles, which I describe in my free archetype PDF. And if you don't have that, you should download it from our new website at yourstylekey.com. We have this archetype cheat sheet you can download, which has a pretty detailed description of the things that all of the different archetypes struggle with. And that can be really, really helpful if you like thinking about struggles and challenges. Yeah, that's a great question, Marina. And thank you everybody for being here in general. I'm always like so extremely grateful and happy to have you here. I'm having a hot chocolate today because it's a really great day again. And it's fall now, so I guess summer's over. Okay, so we're gonna talk about the shadow, the Ice Queen, and I think that the best way to look at the shadow, to understand the shadow, is instead to understand her counterpart, which is the sun. You know, that's the thing that we want to talk about, we want to understand. I have some really lovely images here. Let me just put my face in a different place. Yeah, I don't want to be covering the sun. Okay, so those are my three really cute, really beautiful images of the sun. And I tried to find some different pictures of the sun iconography, which capture different parts of the sun. Because of course, there is the beautiful thing about the sun where it is this light, soft, glowy, right? Like you're being bathed in the light, kind of golden hour, the sun. And then, of course, we have the sun, which I feel like the lady in the middle of the photo is representing, like the sun at noon, right? It's so bright and it's so intimidating and it is so vibrant and it's so powerful and really majestic. And then we have the sun on the right, which is almost like an introspective, even though she is like the sun and she's holding the fire. Maybe it's like sunset, kind of moody. And the reason I like to think about the different aspects of the sun is because I like to point out that this archetype, even though it's one thing, it can be so many different things. And I feel like for a lot of people, I know that sometimes when I say, oh, but you know, yeah, like it's the sun, a lot of people can feel like, well, I don't really relate to that. I don't know if I can really see myself in the sun idea. So my intention is to nuance the concept a little bit for you and to help you think about that the sun is not necessarily, as I said, the sun at noon, where it is so blazing and you just can't even look at it. Maybe your sun is like a dusk, or it is a dawn, or it is a late afternoon in the autumn. Or maybe it's just a really cloudy day when the light is really, really diffuse and just barely reaching through. Maybe you are more like the moon and it's just like the sunlight reflecting, reaching the earth in that much more gentler and dreamy way. So I think thinking about what are all of the different ways in which the sun and that energy of, what are all of the different ways in which the sun and that energy of like intense light kind of manifests itself that are not always the most obvious? I think that can be really nice. But in general, thinking about what does the sun represent in all of her beautiful different forms, it makes you think about, right, joy. That's a big thing we associate with the sun, right? When the sun comes out, everybody is happy, right? I mean, I guess for some people around the world right now, when it's so hot, I cannot relate in Sweden, but I understand, like when it's so hot, it feels oppressive. But in general, right, the sun coming up, it's like, oh, a new dawn, a new day is here, happiness. We associate the sun with growth, right? Because the light of the sun literally makes it possible for things to grow. We associate the sun with clarity and insight, right? Literally like the light revealed onto the things. We use a light bulb as a thing, as an object to symbolize ideas. And, you know, under the light, everything becomes so obvious and so clear. So those are kind of the energies I associate with the sun: the joy, the clarity, the optimism, and the sense of like harmony and belonging, right? So the sun kind of shines light on everything and reveals everything the way it is. And it's very, very powerful. Again, whether it is the dawn, the sun, the moon, whatever it is, that's this really powerful light coming to us. So if you think about the sun as this much bigger, light emitting, powerful clarity, hope, joy, growth, optimism type of energy, you can think about how the keywords are used in the system or the archetypes on the right side all reflect to that. For example, some of the right keywords I have are radiant and luminous, and those are obviously referring to really bright light or diffuse and soft light, but it's all about the emission of light. And I use that both for physically, you know, you want clothes that are shiny sparkles, you want light colors that can be reflective, bright colors if you want the radiance, if you want to use these keywords, or you want something that glows up your face. But it's also about aligning that look of like, oh, everything is glowy, radiant, shiny, and bright with that inner essence of you, which is also directing your personal light energy outward, whatever the flavor of your personal light energy is. Likewise, the other right keyword for me is refined, and that I associate again with these properties of the sun that are like harmony, order, structure, the way that the light kind of reveals the way that things are meant to be. I also have the word inspiring, which speaks to the empowering, positive influence of the sun and how it activates, motivates, inspires people in the way that you do also. And also the dreamy keyword, thinking about that the sun really is like, it's always, okay, you can feel the rays of the sun, I guess, but it's like the sun in itself is very non-sensual because it's like untouchable and you can't really look at it. So it's very, for me, very like ephemeral and dreamy. Okay. Those are just keyword things. You don't need to get too hung up on those things. I just wanted to, in case that helps for some people, the important thing I'm trying to explain is that you, with the right essence, whether you're using the Moonstone or the Sapphire key, you're looking for a style that helps you align with that inner essence in yourself. And I'm not saying you are 100% joyful, optimistic, harmonious person all the time, and you never ever behave any other way. That's not what I'm saying, but I am saying that those are the kind of themes which you do want your style to help you bring out, is your vision of these words, feelings, and vibes. You want your style, if you're going back to that first slide, to express your essence. So you want style that helps you shine your inner light. You want style that helps you make sense of your place in the world. And you really want the style that helps you thrive by connecting you to your environment. So that's kind of the big overview on the sun, what it means. And I want to stress one more time that in my system, embodying the sun does not mean always being positive, having your life perfectly figured out. It's not about having everything in perfect order and the outfits are perfect and you are perfect and everything is just glowy, harmony, sunshine, but it is about when you are in the energy of using style effectively as a tool, that's when you're able to draw on the sun ideas. So in that way, when you are embodying the sun energy, the sun joyful archetype, that is you being able to use style effectively as a tool to bring those positive qualities in your life through style, right? So style helps you make sense of the world around you because you're choosing outfits that connect to your situations. You're feeling this connection, this belonging. It's great, or it's harmonious. You make sense with the world around you. There's visual harmony in your outfits that helps you understand why things go together. And by extension, it just helps you feel like you're organized and on top of things. And style can help you bring in the positivity to help you shine your inner light, to help you embody that inspiring, beautiful, lovely essence of yours, and to bring out all of the positive energies that you have. It's supposed to be doing that. And so as long as your style is helping you do those things and it's being a functional tool, you are in the sun. So there is no obligation for you to be Little Miss Perfect just because you want to say you're the sun. And likewise, you really don't need to just earn it or deserve it in any way, just like you don't need to earn or deserve saying you're Gaia on the left. There is no checklist of criteria you need to meet. It's just an archetype you can always point yourself to and feel like, hey, this is available for me whenever I want. Okay, so that's really important for me, that you feel like empowered and like you are allowed to claim it. And I also think I want to start talking about some examples on the sun, but I wanted to add before I talk about it, in case you have seen my other video on the Lost Girl and Gaia, you can really think about the contrasts for them, right? So for Gaia, I'm talking about how she's the earth and she holds all of these different oppositions within her, and there's none of this kind of consistency in a way, and it's a lot of just very different things happening at the same time. You can just like literally contrast that with the sun, right? It's like, yeah, of course the sun has its own rhythm, or the moon has her own mystery rhythm, but the sun and the moon, they're both like coming up, they're giving the light, they're coming down. You know what I mean? Like there is not the same kind of like mix match of simultaneous sensations, even though, as I said, you can perceive it in different ways based on the moment of the day and the type of sun you want to be. Okay. I don't know if people are like not saying stuff because I'm talking too fast. So if I'm talking too quickly, just let me know and I will listen to you. Okay, but then I'm going to talk about my sun example, and the obvious sun example I really like, I think it's a really fun one, is to talk about Reese Witherspoon, right? She's Elle in Legally Blonde. She is the write-up, I think model, role model, power, whatever, archetype doesn't matter, but she's a great example of the sun. So I thought it would be really fun to talk about her journey as a character and how she embodies the arc of somebody who is able to really direct her personal light effectively outwards, and to really use style as a tool to create kind of harmony and create connection with the world around her, and all of these like positive things that we talked about. So, right, so if I just tried to pick the movies that are universally known as having the best costuming when I talk about characters, because I assume that people who are interested in style have seen it. So I hope you have seen it also. But the basic premise is that Elle, she's the sorority girl. She's from Los Angeles. She's studying fashion, and she really loves to wear pink, and she loves to wear fluffy stuff. And, you know, she's kind of ditzy, and she's the president of her sorority, and so on and so forth. And her boyfriend's like, you're not serious enough for me, Elle. So he breaks up with her, and then she's like, what? And then she goes to Harvard Law School to maybe get him back, but maybe also she just wants to go to Harvard Law School. And when she arrives to Harvard Law School, she's still kind of dressed like this in her Elle pink and fluffy outfits. So for example, she misunderstands like some party, or like, I guess she gets tricked into it, but anyway, she still dresses up as like a sexy bunny to a what she believes to be a costume party, and she tries to come to the library dressed like all in pink with these little hair clips, and she tries to bring her muffins to her study group, and they're like, no, Elle, we don't want to have you in the study group. So if we think about Elle as a person who is using style as a tool for their personal growth, we can see that she's obviously really excellent at it, because she was a person who was president and very dearly beloved by members of her sorority. Obviously, her style is not the only reason why people would like her as a person or why she succeeded. But at the same time, I think it's really important to understand that she is really, really good at understanding what is she supposed to look like blonde, pink, girly, glamorous, etc. And she's able to really deliver on that in her own signature way and in a way that makes her kind of show up as herself and to have a really great time. But then when she switches her environment and she arrives to law school, yes, she comes in the bunny outfit with the muffins, and people are like, no, this is weird because we're in law school and we're so serious and we really don't want you to be wearing like pink glittery underwear because this is not what serious law students do. So in Elle's case, her style kind of falters here because her typical style solution, which is to look pink, feminine, and glamorous, is not successful to get the results she wants, which is like social integration, harmony, and belonging, right? And in Elle's case, and the point of the movie, is not only style-wise, but in general, she's like, okay, so I have to figure out how I can belong in this law world because I am this type of like glamorous, feminine, girly girl, but I'm also a very sophisticated, intelligent, hardworking person. And, you know, in the movie, I'm not going to go through all of her costumes, could be a fun video for some other time, but basically she does find this professional style expression, right? She still has this super fitted black and white flouncy thing with the ruffle and really high heels and patterned tights, whereas the other girl is just wearing a simple blazer. In the courtroom, she comes in this super pink with the glitter sash. So she finds a way for her to represent the elements that she thinks are important about, you know, being alive, which is, I think, glamour and kind of having fun and enjoying the power of her beauty. She brings these elements in while still finding a way to connect with her environment in an appropriate way, right? So it's maybe like not conventional, but it is definitely reasonable what she wears both to law school and to her court things. So she's finding a way to be unconventional, but still really fitting in and in a way that makes people listen to her, respect her. She's able to build friendships, find a relationship, and have some professional success, right? So the story really is about Elle finding a way to adjust the way she presents herself to grow into the new situation. And style is not the whole thing, but it is a big part of the story for her, right? And as it is for you, style is not the thing that's going to make or break your success in making new friends or doing a good job at your job, but style can really help you with that if you are using style well. So she's a great example to me of the sun because she's a person who is able to take the situation, respond to it appropriately. And when her solution didn't work, she's like, okay, I'm going to find a new solution. She's not like, oh, I don't fit in here, so I give up. Nobody cares what I don't look good enough, so I'm going to totally give up on who I am. And I'm just going to wear jeans and a hoodie like this other lady in my class because that's who I'm supposed to be, right? She doesn't give up on being herself. She doesn't give up on being true to herself, but nor does she give up on the people. And she's not like, oh, I don't care what they think. I'm just going to wear my pink fluffy stuff because it doesn't matter. She kind of finds that in-between way. And that to me is really the embodiment of the sun, right? It's the clarity of assessing the situation, what's actually going on, what is expected, what's going to work and what's not, and what are the changes I can make, and then making the changes so she can be present and express her full personal beautiful energy in this really powerful way to do the thing that she wants, which is to be a sparkling pink law lady. And that's what I want for you. I want everybody to be like Elle or Wednesday, whatever your visual flavor of it is. But that's all I want is for you to be able to actually be present in your situations and to contribute to them visually and personally, and find the style that helps you actually be part of the group and not kind of like, oh, well, I didn't fit in here on my first try, so I'm just going to give up. I don't care. Right? That we don't want that. We want you to be the sun. So that's Elle as the sun. And her joining us, because there are like people kind of come in through the live stream. We are talking about the shadow archetype of the Ice Queen. And to talk about the Ice Queen, I think it's really helpful to first talk about the sun. So I've been talking about the sun archetype and how for me it means really embodying this energy of clarity, harmony, warmth, it's like light as a person, energy, inspiration, optimism, all of those things, and using style as a tool to help you really like make that contribution and shine your brightest light so all of the trees grow, or whatever you want your sun to do for other people. And if you want, I also think this is a great moment to once again mention that if you want to grow your personal sun or do your Gaia, find your lost girl, you should check out my new style course, The Leap. It's going to start at the end of September. It is 12 weeks of learning. There is a private community and weekly lessons and check-ins, and it's just like really the best way after that you could possibly work on your style if you actually want to. Like if you've been like, oh, I really like style and I care about it and I really like want to do something more, but it's just kind of okay moving forward, you should do the class, and I'm gonna leave a description below. If you don't want to join the class, you should please like the video if you like it, or dislike it if you don't like it, because then I know. Either way, at least I know what you think, and it really helps me with the channel. Okay, so that was one example of the sun, and then I thought I could just give you some other examples of the sun, which is again people who I believe are good at using style as a positive tool for connecting with their environment and shining their personal light into the world. I was watching Just Like That. Great costumes. I know I was talking about Carrie last week for Gaia. So I always say Kristen Davis, Charlotte, she's so like the princess, the sun, right? She just wants you to know that she's a person that wants her life to be like beautiful and basically problem free, and she just wants to have a great time, and she's really pretty and her style does that. Huge success. We also have the write-up Seema in the show. Right, it's a bit of a different flavor on the sun, but again, Seema, she's like, I'm a go-getter, like independent, powerful businesswoman, and I'm like sexy and I'm confident. So we have the style that looks exactly like that. It really makes sense. You understand immediately what she's going for. And it's really built on who she is, where she is in life, right? She's a fancy New York real estate agent in the show. So that's how she dresses, like a fancy New York real estate agent in this very confident, glamour, feminine way. Speaking of Wednesday, I always have to talk about Enid. Wednesday, she's so like the sun in terms of her very like colorful, kind of idiosyncratic, very joyful style choices. And I wanted to include Enid because I think she's a really cute character. If you haven't seen the show, she's like a werewolf, but her werewolfness isn't really working. And, you know, she's kind of a moody teen. I think everybody on the show is a moody teen. So I wanted to show somebody who like, it's not like she has her life all figured out and she's like a power woman, but she's, you know, kind of maybe lost and confused, but she's still using style in the best way she can, which is just to like have a really good time in life because it's a bit rough for her with her werewolf things. And then yeah, somebody kept commenting about that I should talk about Mrs. Maisel, so of course she's here. We have this lady from Abbott Elementary, Laura G, and I don't know, there's just like tons of people, right? There's tons of people who are doing they're doing the sun. Okay, they're using the style in the way. So it's the sun. And again, the idea is that the healthy style for you is helping you make your way in the world, right? You want to connect, you want to shine the light, you want to inspire and motivate. You want to be dressing with this kind of clarity and confidence, and you want your inner light to really be shining out. You want to find what it is about you, the contribution that you're really enjoying. How can style help you give that beautiful, powerful energy to the world around you? And how can style really make sense for who you are? So if that's all the sun, obviously the Ice Queen is like the opposite of those things. So everything the sun has that's beautiful, warm, cozy, inspiring, harmony and clarity, the Ice Queen is like literally the opposite of that, right? So she's like the sad, sad opposite. When I say sad, by the way, you don't have to be sad when you're in the Ice Queen. I just meant literally, you know, just kind of cold and frozen there on the ice with her. Oh, thank you for saying it's beautiful. I find these things are very like poetic, so I really like thinking about them. So if the sun has clarity, The Ice Queen, she's got no clarity, right? The Ice Queen, it's like totally frozen in place and overwhelmed. I don't know what I want to wear. I don't know what I want it to look like. I don't know what I like. I don't know what looks good on me. I don't know, right? It's this like kind of freeze mode when it comes to style. Like literally, you know, you're like, I have too many options in my closet and I never know what to wear. Or I go to the store, I literally never see anything I like. Or like I see all these people that have their style figured out. I absolutely don't, right? So instead of this like, ta-da, in the sun, I'm here, confidence, it's this like shrinking away and the feeling of being stuck in a place. If the sun is about beaming her beautiful, warm, gentle light and helping things grow and you grow, the Ice Queen is like, there can be no real growth and progress because the Ice Queen is all about perfection and impossible goals, right? So her style attitude is more like, I can't even try these things because I know it's not going to look perfect and there's no point bothering. If I'm going to invest money, then it needs to be the perfect outfit. If I'm going to put in effort into styling myself, it needs to be exactly right. You know, oh, I need to have the perfect body before I'm allowed to do style, or my life is so shitty, who cares what I'm wearing? So basically just all of these like reasons, really cold and harsh reasons about why style can't give you that vitality and can't give you that growth. And also this lack of warmth, right? It's often, to me, the Ice Queen is about self-restraint, right? I can't wear the things I think are fun. It's impossible for me. It looks too bad. I can't do it. Other people don't like it. Or it's a super harsh criticism, right? Same thing. You put something on, you're like, oh, it looks so awful. Oh, my thighs, they're so ugly. And why are my feet so big or so small? And why are my hips so straight and or so round? And, or it's like, this doesn't look at all like it's supposed to, and like, oh, this outfit is pretty good, but the shoes aren't right, so it sucks, you know. And it's just this kind of inability to connect with the power of style for yourself, right? Because you maybe have an outfit that's like almost exactly right, and then you're like, I forgot to put on my earrings before the stream, so everything is ruined. And you know, it's like you are not letting yourself soak in that energy of like, style is good, it looks beautiful, and it helps me be me, because you're too busy giving yourself this like list of all the stuff you messed up, that's the problem, and really focused on the critical bits, right? And not only the lack of warmth, but also this lack of this joy, right? So I associate, as I said, the sun, you don't have to be happy all the time, but I think that the sun is a lot about when light comes out and it's like, oh, like that's nice. And that's what I want the style for you to be, right? Something where you're like, oh, like this is a nice part of life that just gets to be about beauty, about having fun, about creativity, authenticity. But in Ice Queen, you're like, no, I'm not allowed to play in this way. I can't wear these things. Nobody's going to take me seriously. You don't have the confidence, right? You're like, oh, I wish I could wear stuff like that, but I don't deserve it. Or you're like, I want to like just play in my closet, but no, nothing I would come up with is good enough anyway, or I don't have time, you know, or like I need to create a super minimal closet. Just coming up with all of these reasons and rules and restrictions for yourself to like take the fun away, take the joy away out of style due to mysterious Ice Queen brain. And also this lack of harmony I mentioned a bit, right? This isolation and withdrawal, feeling like, oh, I don't like the world around me. I don't really like, you know, being visible, and I don't like participating in it, and I don't feel like I can relate to it all. There's no outfit I could wear that would feel like I can be me in my situations, and just, yeah, feeling like you cannot shine your light. You know, imagine if we told the sun like, no, you can't come out. This is so sad, because it's gotta like, that's what it does. It comes up and it's like, hello, and we're like, hello, sun. You know, so this kind of self-imposed isolation withdrawal where you tell yourself, no, it's kind of like, okay, so what's the sun supposed to do if it can't be coming out and shining? Yeah. Reading your mind, yeah. Well, it does how it be. So that's the Ice Queen, right? It's this lack of the sun. So it's no clarity. There's no growth. There's no warmth. There's no joy. There's no harmony. It's just restrictions, criticisms, holding back, and kind of being harsh on yourself. So I think that the Ice Queen there are two kind of main flavors of the Ice Queen, and then I wanted to talk maybe about kind of I don't know, the in-between zone on like when is the Ice Queen the Ice Queen. But yeah, I don't know, are you having a good time? I feel like usually people say more things. So like I'm worried that I'm like not being clear or something, or I'm too excited about the Ice Queen and I'm just saying too many things. So I'm gonna take a moment, drink my hot chocolate. And if you don't like the stream and you don't want to like type in the stream like your stream sucks, you can just dislike it, because like I don't really know what that means usually. Like a couple of people will usually dislike the video and I'm like, okay. But you know, maybe if a lot of people really didn't like it, you can just dislike it and then I know. But if you do like it, you can, and you don't feel like chatting and you're like, I love it, maybe you can thumbs up it, so I just know what's happening. No, of course, sorry, yeah, nobody has to chat anything. That's really, really nice of you to write. I really, really appreciate it. I just, my insecurities. No, I just, you know, I'm still new with the string stuff and I just wanted to make sure it's good. Okay. But yeah, no need to be super engaged or anything. Just wanted to check. Thank you for reassuring me. Maybe right quadrants people like to take notes. Yeah, maybe. Okay. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Okay, everybody's being really nice. All right. Okay, thank you. Okay. So I'm going to tell you about like my two flavors of the Ice Queen that I feel are the most notable. So first, the Ice Queen, it's the restriction Ice Queen, right? It's like you dress really generic or you really restrict your fashion choices, right? So either you're like, this is the thing, right? It's only white t-shirts. Oh my God, you know, bright colors. I can wear red, but never green. Or like, yeah, I can wear like one earring, but never two earrings, right? So that's how a lot of times it can manifest. So if you're thinking about the sun, bright, like expansive, joyful, right? Sweet and soft. But in the Ice Queen is this constriction, right? So you're saying like, no fun. I don't want to stand out too much. Or like, okay, these are the only silhouettes I'm allowed to wear. These are the only pants, right? So this like flavor of the Ice Queen, the restriction queen, I would say she doesn't allow herself anything creative or fun, really. It's really about things that are minimal and quiet. And maybe she likes that, actually, which is very, very possible, but that she still feels like she has to do it, you know what I mean? Or maybe she doesn't like it, and even worse, she feels like she has to do it because that's the things. But the reason it's Ice Queen is not because it's minimal, because, oh my God, like people can be so happy in super minimal restrictive clothes. Some people can be the sun in their super minimal clothes because they're just really happy. Good for them. I'm talking about you, the restrictive Ice Queen, is that you are doing this restriction thing because you're really scared of showing something with your clothes, right? You don't really want to be seen by other people, or you don't want to take a risk, right? You're like, oh, but if I wear this shirt and it has like this giant bow on it, what if people think I'm like a schoolgirl and I have these like, it's like, oh, the cuffs, they're so weird. It's like, is this like some sort of a costume? Or you know, you can come up with all these reasons and like, well, nobody at work ever wears anything fancier than jeans, you know, why should I wear pants? Or like, oh, I just don't think I'm the type of person who like is interesting enough to be able to wear shoes like that, right? So you just like really don't feel okay shining the light, right? You are trying to kind of drape up the sun with a big heavy tablecloth. You're just trying to kind of cover it up and put it under a box and put it under that neutral costume box. That's what this Ice Queen is all about. And for me, it's not really about the clothes looking bad. I actually think a lot of times the clothes look really nice, because if you're only letting yourself have the most neutral things, but you care about clothes, you can often really, really figure it out, the stuff. But it's just that the Ice Queen comes because the clothes are not letting you feel the way you want, and they're not letting you, again, bring your light into the world, right? You're not getting that sense of play. You're not getting that sense of joy. You're not getting that sense of happiness. I have two really fun media examples for you. I'm going to go with my more controversial one first. I have Courtney Cox's Monica and Friends. So to me, she's a great example of this restrictive ice queen. And the reason I think that this is kind of the controversial ice queen is because I know people actually really love Monica's style. And when I go to find pictures of her, I just get all of these inspo boards about how great her style is. So I really want to emphasize that I think she looks beautiful in the show, and if you like her style, this is not a dig at you. I just want to say, for me, in the show Friends, which I have seen as a good millennial, to me, Monica's style clearly represents her personal restrictive nature, right? She's like, I used to be obese, but now I'm skinny, but I'm still maybe don't have a lot of value, and I'm not really that pretty, and I shouldn't really be seen. And, you know, Rachel's kind of the sexy one, and Phoebe's the creative one, and Monica is oftentimes like the neurotic one, you know, and she has a lot of storylines, I feel like, where she doesn't go for the things she wants. And, or like one time she goes for the hair braids and everybody just makes fun of her. So I feel like there's a lot of examples to me about where Monica, like personally, explicitly is really using style as a way of like minimizing herself as a person. And again, not in the saddest way in the world, and she has the worst style. But I think that's why she's a good example to me, because she's a great, like, compelling, real life example, right? She's well dressed, she's pretty, and it's not like she's having like a bad life. But you're like, oh, but Monica, what if she actually like went for the clothes that made her feel really, really beautiful and made her feel like she could have more fun? I think that's what she would like as a person, maybe, or just to feel more important, because I think that's what she in the show struggles a bit with, is being a bit lesser important than some of the other characters in terms of their drama. So that's one example. And the other, like, more baby example I have is, I feel like Lexi from Euphoria is another example of the Ice Queen, where it's like, okay, she actually has really cute outfits sometimes. And I haven't seen all of Euphoria because I can't actually like watch just teens being that depressed for so much, but I like the costumes. And I feel like she is totally right. She's so sidelined, and everybody's living this glamorous like lifestyle, but she's like kind of stuck in this like good girl, less important than role, right? So it's just to take her revenge. I think she writes the play about her friends, whatever. But the point is, I think for me, she's definitely doing this like Ice Queen thing, where she apparently goes to this high school where people just wear literally whatever they want, including literal sex clothes. And nothing is wrong with her like preppy cute style, which by the way is really cute and really nice, and I actually think could be great outfit inspo for a lot of other people. But the storyline with Lexi is, right, that she feels that she is not as cool, not as important, not as interesting. She has this like insecurity, but her clothes are really, how are her clothes feeding into that? Because her style is definitely not anything that she's using to help herself feel more confident or more important. Lexi doesn't need to start wearing sex clothes like her other friends to be cool or to have fun, right? Nobody is saying that, but she could definitely try something that's more expressive, more playful, just more vibrant, or more individual and unique to her. Whereas I think like when she sees herself pinned into the role of like the good girl, and then she dresses like she has to be the good girl, and then she's like unhappy. So it's like the style is the Ice Queen, not the sun, because the style is not leading her towards growth, optimism, joy, clarity, or harmony, but the style is leading her towards this like withdrawal, confusion, and feelings of being less than. So those are my kind of two examples on this restrictive Ice Queen. But yeah, I think the idea is like, oh, that's not for me. You know, I don't need that stuff. Or like, oh, I could never do that. You know, that's too much attention. And, oh, I just don't like feeling sexy or blah, blah. And my kind of guidance to you, we'll talk about, of course, but my guidance to people in the restrictive Ice Queen is never like, yeah, no, you must stop being this person you are and become a different person, right? Stop being Monica and start being Phoebe, or right, stop being Lexi and become the weepy one or the sexy one. That's not the point. The point is, what do you want, right? And the Ice Queen, a lot of times I feel, can be a lot about comparison, right? Well, I'm not like those things, so I have to be this one way that's making me unhappy. So somebody says, Joanna says, yesterday I felt that way. Clothes were fine, comfortable, just felt restricted, as if dark colors didn't let me shine. Yeah, I think, and that's a great feeling. We'll talk about that, but it's just a feeling, right? It's like there's, as I said in the beginning, this Ice Queen stuff, I think it's deep, but it's also not a clinical thing. There's no diagnosis. You're just like, yeah, you know what? These last couple of months have been a bit out of the groove, or last couple of weeks. Just clothes are just getting put on in the morning. I'm rushing around, you know, I don't have maybe as much time as I want to have for my morning routine. And yeah, clothes have just not really been giving me that glow, or not letting me feel like I'm shining and sparkling me. And just checking in with yourself. And Josephine says, I think Monica's style is lovely to look at, but didn't reflect her character and personality. Yeah, and I think it reflected her sense that, like, she was the person that they made fun of because she was so fat, and now she's just kind of like, yeah, mostly just gets kind of put into the background. And I feel like she doesn't need to dress some sort of assertive way to take ultimate space, but maybe she could do more for herself. So, okay, so that's the kind of restrictive minimal Ice Queen. And then we have the other direction on the Ice Queen, which I think is kind of the like more perfect Ice Queen. So this is about people, when you're in this Ice Queen, you're kind of thinking about like, okay, you have your eye on the prize, right? You're like, this is the thing, I need to do this correctly. I'm going to wear the most impressive thing. I'm going to obsess about like the most flattering outfit. I'm going to figure out how to make my body look the best, how to get everybody to think I am the sexiest person in Euphoria High, I am the moodiest person in Wednesday High, whatever, right? So in this mode of the Ice Queen, the kind of, I would say, perfectionistic bland Ice Queen, it's really about seeking approval from the outside world only, right? You're like, I must like, you know, shine the light on as many people as possible. And it comes from this fear, whereas the minimal Ice Queen comes from this fear of like being seen, being recognized, taking a risk. The fear here with the perfect Ice Queen is like, okay, but I don't want to be alone, or I don't want to be ignored. I don't want to be underestimated, right? Like that is really frightening to me. So what I need to do is just do the thing I know is perfect. And I don't really care if that's actually best for my personal thriving or really makes my heart feel the best that it can. I just need to do the thing that is expected to do. And I know, like, you know, what I'm talking about, this is a very easy example of this is just whenever you go onto social media and you see the influencers that have millions of followers and their clothes may be a little bit bland, but they're like, wow, like they're so expensive and rich looking and so fancy, you know, and they're so photoshopped, and, you know, I should look like this, and like, you know, everything needs to be, as I said, in the right place, and if the garment doesn't fit me perfectly, the outfit is trash, right? And it's just this desire to do everything exactly right. I have a really fun, again, I actually think very spicy example. I'm going to lead with the spicy example. My spicy example for this is Leighton Meester as Blair in Gossip Girl. So I would definitely say that she is the Ice Queen in this way, because Blair, so she definitely does everything that is expected of her, right? She's kind of the girl at the top of the social hierarchy in her high school. If you haven't seen the show, I guess it's kind of old now. But again, one of the most costume famous shows of all time. So it is really helpful to think about this, that she's like, look, I need to be at the top of the social hierarchy. There's one way, the best way for me to be on the top of social hierarchy is to assert myself. I'm going to assert myself by having the most fancy outfits. I'm going to make sure people are basically like kind of scared of me, and I'm going to be really rude, and I'm going to be really aggressive. And throughout the show, like Blair, she's really using her style in this way, right? She's always couture head to toe. And it's not only her style with clothes, it's her style of being, right? The way she conducts herself, the way she relates to other people. It's very like haughty and aggressive and strategic. But it's like at the end, I mean, in the show, like, again, I don't want to make this too in-depth Rita Gossip Girl analysis, but Blair, like, she doesn't really get anything. She doesn't get to go to the university she wanted to go to. She marries this guy who like sold her for a hotel. I don't know. Do you remember the storyline? But basically, it's like, despite the fact that she has all of these really incredible privileges in life, she doesn't quite really go anywhere. And I'm not talking about like a capitalistic sense of accomplishment, although we can discuss her merits professionally. But I think just as a person, I feel like she never really gets into a good arc of actual character growth because she's so fixated, right, on being the queen bee of the high school. And then if she's not the queen bee of the high school, then she is the queen bee of, like, I don't know, the Upper East Side early 20s gang or whatever, right? So it's all about just doing what is expected and climbing that kind of social position, but without the adequate amount of like introspection, right? Because Elle, if we go back to our sun example, Elle, she's also like doing those things, right? She's also president of the sorority. She's also dressing in a way that's going to get her the likes and the whatever social approval and everything. But there's this element of herness to it, right? She's like, well, she starts out by following this guy, but then she's like, why can't I do this thing? I like being a lawyer. I find this interesting. I like this case. I like these people. Like, I like doing this. And also when she meets the challenge, she thinks about, okay, how do I want to respond to it, right? With Blair, I feel like there's never that type of growth. So I feel like for her style is she's an ice queen, where it's like her fixation on doing the style correctly really takes her away from the ability to use style for her to identify her own needs. And my other example, which is like similar, right, because I guess it's kind of a trope, but I thought it was fun, is obviously like Regina in Mean Girls. I think also Katie. I was really trying to think if Katie is like a right down ice queen or left down lost girl. So I'm super open to your thoughts on that, because I want to see what people think. But Regina, right, she is obviously supposed to be the Ice Queen. And again, one of the most costume famous shows of all time, or movies of all time, right? Regina, runs the high school with her iron fist. And again, it's all about, how can I be the baddest bitch, the sexiest girl, the shortest miniskirt, the highest heels? How can people be frightened of me? And in her case, it's really about flexing her power and status. And again, it's like, she does do those things. She succeeds in those things. She uses style as an effective tool for those ends. But then in the end, it's like, what does she have, right? Her friends don't like her. She doesn't really have this relationship. She doesn't have this personal growth, whatever. And then in the end of the movie, after she gets hit by the bus and her head goes all the way around and she becomes a lacrosse girl instead, I feel like there she adopts a new like lacrosse aesthetic, and she's the queen of the lacrosse people. And that's maybe her more in the sun, where she's able to reconcile, like find a healthy channel for her desire for kind of like dominance and competition. Maybe it's like a happy ending for her, right? But I think the story of Mean Girls is definitely about her just addicted to the power trip of like doing the style correctly and better than other people, right? And looking down on people because they aren't doing the style good enough compared to her. Okay, so that's Good Ice Queen. Josephine says Gossip Girl is considered a vintage show. Well, I'm just thinking, right, for people even our age, so I'm 33, right? I watched this when I was in my mid-20s, but it's like, if you didn't watch it then, like, are you gonna watch it now? So I don't know. New Gossip Girl I didn't find as compelling, unfortunately. And Lucy says, I use the Ruby key, but very much relate to this Ice Queen. I used to stress over other style systems trying to get everything right without checking in to see if it felt right. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a human struggle, right? That we just let other people tell us what to do, and it's like, they don't always know. So those are my like ice queens. And then I wanted just to finish the stream by talking about that. I think this is something I would have loved to talk about Lost Girl, but I forgot. It's like, I don't think it's such a thing where like we're either in the sun and you're perfect, amazing, shiny and successful, or you're in the ice queen and you're like a frigid, stuck up, like cold-hearted shrew, you know? I don't think it's really like that. I think it's just about recognizing, where am I kind of in my ice queen mode and where am I more in my sun mode. So I'll just give you like a really easy read, a personal example, right? In terms of being seen on social media, right? So doing videos or working with my clients, love to think about what outfit is going to give you the best experience on the video, or what outfit's going to give you the best experience doing a client call with me. So I love using style that way. But sometimes when I go into a bit of like a worse groove, either like work or some situations, I just noticed there I'm like kind of like, oh, I don't know what to wear, and I don't really feel like, I kind of do this like graying out thing because I don't really want to be seen. And I kind of just notice I slip into that mode, and it's like not my entire mode with style, but I just find I'm like kind of like, yeah, I'm reluctant to really bring my light of style wise. So for me, that means, for example, wearing clothes with much less embellishment or really muted like color schemes, or just like less stuff, and like, you know, not doing all of my jewelry, makeup, etc. to just really like glam up and spice up the day, because that's really the way I bring my personal energy into the world. I'm like a very extra person, and for me, being extra really helps me like be who I am and be myself. So when I'm in the Ice Queen mode, I'm just kind of like finding reasons and excuses why I shouldn't do that, and I don't know. But really, like, what's underneath it is I'm just kind of like, yeah, I'm like dimming my little sun. So I wanted to say it's a bit of a spectrum, so I wanted to show us an example here. For example, because I think for a lot of people, you can have this Ice Queen feeling where like in one mode of expression, you're really happy with it. Like, oh, I'm a creative, I'm a capable woman, you know, I love that. But then in another area of life, you're like unable to bring out some important aspect, like, oh, I'm also a lovable, tender-hearted, soft human being, you know? And you get caught into thinking like, well, I have to be one of these things, right? And so style can be like one of those things that boxes you in. So I wanted to give this example of the kind of like in-between Ice Queen on Miranda Priestley, another iconic fashion icon, right, from The Devil Wears Prada. So in some ways, obviously, Miranda embodies what I think the society considers to be the Ice Queen, in the sense that she's like really mean and harsh and hurtful. But in terms of style-wise, the question on like whether she embodies the Ice Queen or not, it's about, think about all the stuff we talked about the sun, right? Clarity, harmony, confidence, inspiration, right? She's really doing those things at work. She looks exactly what a fashion editor is supposed to look like. She's super fashion forward. She has a very unique personal energy and a very unique personal style that is really like attuned to her energy, her unique brand, right? So she's fulfilling the criteria, but doing it like in a very strong, powerful, individualistic way. She's really successful. She's really influential. She's super inspiring, right? Her critiques and compliments really motivate people. The people around her are really like pushed by her to work super well. So, and she's, you know, driving the fashion industry, whatever. So in some ways, like obviously she uses style as a tool of great success. But then in other parts of the movie, we're like, oh no, she's so sad because her husband like, divorced her, and I don't know, it's like, maybe her life isn't totally perfect. And we can just think like, okay, you know, maybe in some ways she is even at the height of her powers as a person and as a style person. Even she, who is so incredibly well dressed, is able to relate to this idea that maybe there are parts of herself that she's not really presenting and not really leading with, and her style persona that she has created doesn't capture all of those nuances. So it's like maybe her family life is challenging for her because she hasn't really figured out how is she a family person and what does that look and feel like for her, right? So kind of a lifelong journey of placing yourself and finding that right balance, because obviously in some ways, yeah, she's the style queen because she is really living the life she wants and using style as a tool. Okay, so that was like my Ice Queen run through. So we have kind of the constrained, minimal, generic Ice Queen who is not letting herself have fun. And we have the overly perfectionistic, just doing things to please, even though I'm unhappy Ice Queen. And then I just want to say it's a bit of a spectrum. If you liked the video, please give it a like, comment the video. It really helps with the algorithm. I know it's like so little to ask, but it's really helpful. So I'm like really appreciate it. Okay, and then I just wanted to say a bit in the end here about what to do with the Ice Queen and how you can kind of thaw the ice. But I also wanted to just like give you a second in case you wanted to ask me something about any of the examples or something I mentioned. So I'll just give you a moment before I go into my how to deal with it. Oh, and I noticed somebody said Anne Hathaway has been having way more fun with style lately. I feel like Anne Hathaway was definitely in her Ice Queen moment in a way, because I feel like she's right up, maybe like icon role model or something, and I feel like she's the kid that doesn't really love to be in the spotlight somehow, and I feel like people, they really don't like that for her, but now she's like decided that she can do it and she won't, I don't know. I feel like that's been a big change for her, and I think it's really fun. Okay, well then I'm gonna just say some things about how you can thaw the ice in the Ice Queen. So the first thing, right, is just to soften and I know this is like always my advice for everything, but that's just my advice in life, is just to think about like, how can you find a way to be like softer and gentler with yourself, and find a way to make actual progress, right? So a lot of times when you are really stressed and pressed and everything has to get figured out, everything has to get right, you kind of can freeze up, and that's when it feels like there's no options. Everything in my closet sucks, so I can't just redo one thing, right? So I always think like, if you really feel like, oh, I'm in a big Ice Queen place, like my style is really right now not letting me be this person I want to be, and really not letting me kind of bring my mark onto the world. And then I would think about, okay, you probably just need like a longer timeline for your style, right? Like maybe you can think about that, yeah, it's not going to get fixed in the next few months, or that you definitely need to just spend a lot more time, effort, and energy on the project than you've been doing before. But I think it's also just about being nice and kind of forgiving yourself for the things that you don't like, finding ways to give yourself compliments, just giving yourself more grace, like it's okay if this outfit isn't perfect, and finding a way to really gain enjoyment from the styles that are there now. So just kind of like basically trying to exit yourself out of this like panic mode where it's like, everything is a disaster and it needs to get solved now. Because I think the idea of like everything is a disaster and it needs to get solved now is not a great way to find solutions. So I think just like softening and figuring out how to be like kinder to yourself. So that's also in the leap, a big thing we do in the beginning is we really focus on doing regular check-ins with people where we like ask you like, what do you like? What do you notice about your outfit? And you can do that by yourself. Just really making it a regular practice to just like be nice to yourself. But I also think this like longer timeline for a lot of people is just really helpful. Is just to think, well, I don't want to buy a million things and I want to kind of take some time to explore my taste. So it's just going to take time to get where I want to go, and that's okay. I think that can be really, really nice. Then the second thing I think is like to just turn towards the joy, right? So if the sun is about joy and warmth and the optimism and the glow, a lot of times I think we can have this all or nothing attitude to it where we're like, yeah, that's what style is supposed to give me joy, and it's not giving me joy right now because it sucks, And we have this tendency, I think, to make it into this all or nothing situation. And I want to invite you out of the all or nothing situation and to think instead like, okay, but where is the joy now, right? Because I'm sure you have one outfit you like, but then you probably think like, oh, I shouldn't wear this too often because it's my favorite outfit and I don't want to ruin it. Or like, oh, everybody's already seen me in this so many times. But just, wear the outfit. Or if it's a piece, wear it with a bunch of stuff, even if it doesn't perfectly go with those things. Like, just find a way to really be in the clothes that you like the most, and also figure out like, okay, well, where is style actually serving me? Like, oh, you know what, actually I love my gym clothes because they really motivate me to work out. So their like style is really effective because I feel I look like a cute gym girl, I'm at the gym, I'm feeling really cute, and it inspires me and it gets me motivated. So it can be like some small things, but again, we write those things off because we're like, oh, who cares about that? I got to focus on the problem, So instead of focusing so much on the problems, I think focusing on where things already good. That's a really, really big thing. And again, I feel like honestly, it's just easier for me to say than for you to do. But all I can do in this type of video format is tell you. I would love to like help you with it, but in the video, all I can do is tell you. And then the last thing is to think about like, okay, how can you use style as a connection, right? So a big thing we've talked about in the whole stream is about how with the sun, it's really about the connection, right? The shining your light outward and connecting with the other people. So a big harm with the Ice Queen is that you're getting really stuck, right? And a bit isolated because you're not shining the light. And I think what you want to do is to practice more like connecting with the world on your own terms. So I don't know if you could check out my foundations courses, or just think more about like, well, what are my situations, right? Where do I want to be seen? Or, you know, where do I want to feel a certain way? Like, how can I use style to like come into more contact with what's around me? Who are people who I feel really safe being seen by? Who are like some encouraging people I know who like hype me up? Where is a situation in my life which really inspires me and like makes me feel like, oh yeah, like I would love it if I could have like a cool outfit there, right? So kind of search outwards in that style process and start building more bridges to use your style as this tool for connection rather than being stuck in this isolation phase. So those are my 3 main tips for the Ice Queen situation: is the softening, the joyfulness, and then the connection, because that's kind of what all the sun is about. And I want to say, like, to circle back here, because I know not everybody sees the whole stream, and for me, you don't need to qualify to be the sun. There's no checklist. You need to like have successfully done or fulfilled, and nobody needs to give you some diploma that says you're worthy. It's just an archetype that is available for you all the time to think about, okay, style could be this really great tool that I could use to bring clarity, harmony, joy, inspiration, warmth into my life. And, you know, maybe I'm a bit in the Ice Queen, maybe I'm a bit in the sun, but I could be in the sun more. If I want to, I'm allowed to do that already. All right, so that's a big pep talk. Bria says, not sure how to ask this question in a way that makes sense, but how is the Ice Queen turning into the sun different from using the left logic of looking to your own feelings? Yeah, that's a really great question. So to me, the whole point on the left logic with Gaia and the Lost Girl is it's really about sensing inwards, and style is supposed to be a tool that helps you connect to like what's going on inside you. And the more you focus on the inner world, more you can connect with kind of the outer world. Like, it's almost like a really literal example is like, if you're going to go to a party, instead of thinking about what are other people going to wear at the party, you know, what's expected of me, what's trendy right now, just to think about like, what does this party mean to me, right? You're like, oh, well, this party for me, I don't know, like I'm maybe not even really in a party mood, and I don't even I'm not really that excited for it. And then just to like wear something that necessarily doesn't feel that festive, so just don't force yourself to conform to the thing, and just do what you feel like doing. And then I feel like that actually helps you be more present and be more happy. Whereas for a person using the sun logic, the idea is that if you're like feeling like, oh, I just don't know what to wear, I would just think more about like, well, what are people going to wear, or like what's outside, or where's it going to be, and just get some ideas that can help you feel like you belong more, and using the external as like a reference point and aligning more with these values and like harmony, right? So that's why I stress also for the further right, I think harmony, just visual harmony, logical harmony in styling is really, really helpful to think like, oh, these things make sense together, right? So better for you to have a style that kind of matches the theme, the mood, the vibe of the party. That's going to help you feel better compared to the style that only matches your own mood. And of course, different for the ups and the downs, but that's kind of like the basic thing. So I just think it's really about, with the sun, it's about letting yourself be seen, the shine outward, the connection with other people, and the emphasis on like bringing out these joyful, harmonious, light aspects of yourself, which again, like, it's not like that's the only thing about you that's allowed. You don't have to be a perfect, always smiling person, but it is about using style to bring more of those things to you and to the people around you. And Ula says, the storytelling method have helped me. You have spoken about that before. Yeah, I think that's a really great method, is just to think about, what is the story of my clothes? Why do these things fit together? Like, why do they go? Why do they belong? And also, why does my outfit and me in the outfit belong into this place, right? So kind of trying to get at a logical understanding of why things make sense with each other. That can be really, really helpful for you, for that kind of clarity. So yeah, that's it for us for today for the Ice Queen, the Sun. It was really, really fun to have you here. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for caring. I feel like I always say this, but I'm just really grateful that to have kind of this community of people who all understand the fun and the depth of style at the same time, and how style can be so much for us, and it can do so much, then not just like, oh, you need to wear pink so it looks right, but more about, okay, who do I become when I let myself wear the pink outfit whenever I want. So yeah, thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you next time. Bye.